live here. So let's go live here.
Can you go live there on
Ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Wait a minute.
Is that what you want to do?
Right now. Where's the volume stick?
Strange fruit come from the poplar tree. Bulging eyes, twisted mouth, bloody leaves. Lady Day sung about a Jim Crow South. Smoke sailed through her lungs, pain flew from her tongue. Piano backing her up, drugs in her system. Mobsters, senators sat back and listened. Champagne bottles, cigar flames, tuxedos. The nightclub scene was full of egos. Black heroes, Ray Robinson, cracking lobster. After knocking out Jake LaMotta, sharing laughs with the ladies in comes the brown bomber. Joe Lewis, they both toasted Jack Johnson. Joe smiles, bows, blows a kiss through the crowd. He KO Max Mellon in the first round. 2 minutes, 4 seconds. The crowd then in wrecks and chairs. God bless the chair.
Like that.
Booker T had it right, self-sufficient neighborhoods. Unity in our community, he understood what it would take to build a nation up in Greenwood, North Archer, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street. Lawyers, doctors, and bank owners, they would all meet in fraternal lodges. Masonic secrecy where they talk dollars. Black economics, development of new projects, churches and theaters, perfect thing to mirror, but scenes that were lost now used to demonstrate scenes that were all talk now. So we serve hard time and get mowed down, consume all and we show off. Perhaps it's there we lost ground. The boys in Philip Randolph screaming Garvey must go. Help Hoover build a plan to make the UNIA door slam. It's Armstrong Blue with Duke Ellington's band. Picture Medgar Evers in the civil rights era, shot in his driveway trying to make things better. I wonder, was it worth it? When I see the senseless murders, I think about the Wills fleeing Memphis. Fred Hampton asleep when police entered. Sold out by a Negro intelligence, a pretender. Same hue wide when the chairman fed black kids through his breakfast agenda. I couldn't sit through the last minutes of Lumumba. I'd rather watch Hoodlum. Celebrate Bumpy and Adam Powell Jr. Our path in this country. The Birmingham bombings forever haunts me. Rest in peace to the 4 girls lost at the Emmett Till. The Black Holocaust, it was real. They got school to prison pipelines out here now. Really gotta keep your eyes open, keep your head up. Education is the way. Information, baby.
All right, all right. My ancestors woke me up this morning. They say, son, you do know what time it is, don't you?
All right. My ancestors woke me up this morning.
I got my own echo. I'm a bad dude.
You are
I'm a bad look. I try to tell people, they don't want to believe me. I get my own echo. So this is how we do. You know what I'm saying? When I speak, it's like 2 people speaking at the same time. Sometimes it overlaps even. But my ancestors woke me up this morning. They say, son, you do know what time it is, don't you? I say, what time is that? They said it's wartime. So welcome to the Warfront, brothers and sisters. We have a phenomenal program today. This is Chopping It Up with the Genie. We actually we streaming live from a number of different places. One of them, elifemedia.net. If you want to get the graphics and see the audio visual all happening at the same time, this is where you want to go. Again, elifemedia.net. We're also doing it live on Facebook, Irritated Genie of Southeast. That's where some of you all are tuning in from. Do we have another place that we tune in?
Yeah, we tune Dr. Baruch. It's Dr. Baruch on Facebook is where we're at. So it's all over the place, Janie.
It's all over the place. So
you're like bigger than CNN.
Man, CNN. Who is CNN?
Talking twice.
Yeah, twice. I'm talking twice. CNN doesn't talk twice. So we're doing some big things here today. I'm honored to have an esteemed guest here, Dr. Baruch. Many of you already know the brother. For the 2 or 3 people in the universe that haven't heard about him, we're going to introduce him in a moment. But I just want to let you know that this is Chopping It Up Mondays with the Genie here at Everlasting Life, 9185 Central Avenue in Capitol Heights, Maryland. From 2 to 4, we do a radio program. Today we're going to be talking Black Empowerment with Dr. Baruch. And then from 6 to 9, this evening we're going to have a special guest, a brother we actually met here who was speaking during one of the discussions. He was very adamant talking about black economic improvement. He said he knows how to make millionaires. And we said, brother, we're going to give you a shot. So we're doing something tonight we've never done before. We met somebody that said they can do something. We're going to tune in tonight and hear what our brother has to say, Brother William Murray. So we want you to tune in tonight, again, 6 to 9 p.m. On Facebook. We probably start around 6:20 to 6:30. Irritated Genius Southeast page. We do that every Monday. So Monday is a powerful day here at Everlasting Life with the Irritated Genie. You can check us out. Of course, you can come down again, 9185 Central Avenue to Everlasting Life. You can get your delicious food, healthy food. Doc has been getting on me for, I think it's a crime when you eat chicken around here. So, I don't bring no, I don't even tell him I do that. I don't eat no more chicken. You know that.
That's good, brother.
I mean,
especially you on the soapbox that you on.
Exactly.
If you still eating chicken, something ain't right.
Right, and I'm telling partially like the truth. I don't eat chicken that much.
How you gonna partially tell the truth?
Well, I'm telling the part that I want people to hear. That's what I'm saying. Okay. So you can come down here. We have our products available down here. If you come down here to Everlasting Life, you'll see you have Irritated Genie here live. We have DVDs. We have our books for the youth. We have our Straight Black Pride, Straight Black Air Freshener, Pride for Air Freshener. We've been getting a lot of people coming in. Where is that strawberry shea butter? Where is that baby powder shea butter? We're going to have it next Tuesday back in stock, and we're not going to go out of stock. So we've been really selling out of that stuff. It's been doing phenomenal. So come on down, check us out. Also, we have Malik Fashions here. Our sister Al Kamar, always here, available Tuesdays through Fridays, and then the first Saturday of every month, like we just had this Saturday. If you missed it, man, you missed out. It was phenomenal. Not only do we have a shopping bazaar where you can get everything from oils to chains and necklaces, massages, anything that you're looking for, you'll find here. Even Irritated Genie Southeast is here. But in addition to that, we had Choir Boy. You remember Choir Boy from what's the brother's actual name?
Tico Wells.
Tico Wells, brother Choir Boy from the 5 Heartbeats, was here live, and he's actually going to be here this evening. So you're going to want to tune in this evening at 6 o'clock. Again, 6:30, we're going to let you get a chance to meet Tico Williams. Maybe even see if he can hit a note or two from the 5 Heartbeats. So again, want you to advise everybody, come on down, do something for yourself, help your eating patterns and your health. Come on down, eat at Everlasting Life. Also, if you're interested in doing a radio program, a TV program like what we're doing now, you can actually contact Dr. Baruch. He'll tell you how you can do that. And you can come down here and start up your own program. And it's not going to be as dynamic as this program, but that's because you're not the Irritated Genie. And that's not your fault at all. We're not expecting that. But you can still do something that can be very impactful. And you can actually get your message out to people all around the world in what I would say is a state-of-the-art studio that you will not find anywhere in this region or anywhere else doing what we're doing here. Also, Straight Black Pride Radio. We want to let everybody know this is something that is very... means a lot to us. We're getting our message out to people all around the world. You can tune in Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 7 to 10 p.m. Go to blogtalkradio.com/SBPM. SBPM, that's Straight Black Pride Movement. And then also, don't forget our 3rd annual Straight Black Pride Movement Convention. Saturday, August 19th, and Sunday, August 20th. Both of them. This year it's going to be free. We've never done it free before. And it's going to be right here at Everlasting Life, 2 days. So we want you to come on out for free. If you straight, you black, and you proud, we're going to have this place locked down, man. We're going to have a wonderful celebration. All of the food is going to be vegan and healthy and delicious. So everything about that day is going to be phenomenal. We have some wonderful surprises for you during that time. With that said, brothers and sisters, it's time to get into our program. I just want to tell you who I'm going to bring to you. Let me give you the call-in number. Thank you to my sister Al Kamar for riding shotgun right there and reminding me to let the people know what they can do, because I know you're going to want to talk to this brother once I tell you who he is and what he does. The phone number, 641-715-3640. Again, 641-715-3640. 3640. The participation code 948-656 pound. That again, that's 948-656 pound. So what we want to do today is we're going to talk about black economic empowerment. The brother that we're bringing in here now is a brother, and the reason that we're doing this discussion, as a matter of fact, this whole day is going to be about black economic empowerment. We're doing this program, and then we're doing something later on, like we said, at 6 p.m. To 9. It's about the fact that realistically, we as black people, we cannot improve our condition if we're relying on everybody else to provide goods and services for us. So that means that we have to be able to provide quality goods and services for our people for a reasonable price on a consistent basis, so that people will be able to appreciate and do business with black people and feel comfortable doing it. Why am I having Dr. Baruch on? Because this brother, he's going to tell us a little bit about his history and how he got this done, because I really want him to talk about that. We have a brother who exemplifies black entrepreneurship. A man who is in business in something that before he was doing it, it wasn't a whole lot of people doing it. There were a lot of people doing it now, the vegan restaurants and eating healthy and everything like that. But this brother was doing it when I didn't know who he was. Yes, I will admit, there was a time, even the irritated genie, with all the vast knowledge I have, I did not know who Dr. Baruch was, but I heard his name. And I used to come to the restaurant and see the brother, and was very impressed that there was this delicious food that was also healthy, that you could actually eat this food and enjoy eating it, but it was also healthy for you, and that black people had decided to do this on their own, not following another model, but following and creating their own model. This brother is an entrepreneur. He's had a number of restaurants. He'll tell us how many, because I don't want to undercount him and disservice him in terms of the proper credibility. He employs brothers and sisters on a consistent basis. Obviously, there's some form of customer service that goes on, because people come and they enjoy the way they're treated when they come, which is a problem that we have in a lot of our black services. But more specifically today, what we want to do, really, talking to you, Brother Dr. Baruch, we want to learn not only what inspired you, how did you get to become so confident that instead of taking your intelligence, you're the type of brother with the type of intelligence and capacity and confidence and courage that they love to bring into corporate America. They love to give you a shot, try to beat you up, and once they realize they can't beat you up, they say, look, let's take this guy's brilliance and let him make us millions of dollars, instead of him being in his own community, doing for his own folks and figuring out how to get it done. What is it that inspired you? How did you get into the concept in your mind? And when did it happen that I'm going to be an entrepreneur? I'm going to set my own schedule. I'm going to create businesses, goods, and services for our community that are going to be of quality. And I'm going to do it consistently, and I'm going to be successful at doing it. Where did that passion, idea, confidence, and courage, and the whole compartment of self-determination economically come from with you?
Can I get a notepad?
Uh-oh, we got
that was a lot to remember. You know, there's a couple of questions in there, but no. Thank you very much for having me on. I appreciate it, and I appreciate the energy that you bring in an effort to try to elevate our people, you know, in whatever state of consciousness or physical or whatever reality they have, you shining a light on a path so that we can begin a recovery and a building process that is so necessary for our community that it seems like everybody else gets but us. So really appreciate that energy. And as it relates to me and entrepreneurship, it started really early on in my life. It was when my family broke apart, my mother and father were no longer together. It was imperative that I go out and make money so that I could afford to do all the little things that all the other guys in the neighborhood were doing. You know, I wanted to get the new tennis shoes, I wanted to get the fly gear, I wanted to get the new bike and the skateboard back in the day. And in order for me to do that, I had to generate my own funds. So that was back in the day when cutting grass, raking leaves, shoveling snow, washing cars, or doing whatever it is that somebody needed you to do. You was walking around, and I used to have tons of money back in the day for a little guy. So I understood it back then, and I could relate to it. I was like, wow, I can make my own money, and that's my money. It's now in my pocket. I made it based on my work effort.
Now you can get the Huffy, right?
There it is. That's right.
Playground bike. Okay.
That's right. And so then after that, going to college, I did the college thing for a minute, and that was good. It was good exposure, good experience.
What college?
Lincoln University.
Okay.
And
Black University. Okay.
Yeah, historically black college. I did Lincoln University, and it was a opportunity for me to change. So coming out of Southeast Washington, D.C., I had a certain persona, I had a certain, mentality, a vision, and a view of life and how I'd engaged other people. It gave me an opportunity to change all of that with the flip of a light switch.
So you weren't the polished, smooth Dr. Baruch that we see today that looks like he's been this way his whole life. That wasn't you coming straight out of Southeast.
And that wasn't me coming out of college either. I had to flip the switch again. But I changed things up because I realized that ain't going to benefit me. That ain't going to work. What I was doing on the streets in Washington, D.C. was not going to benefit me going forward. So in going to school, I was able to create, and entrepreneurship, believe it or not, followed me even there once I was in school. But I realized that in order for me to really be able to protect what my grandparents and what my parents gave me, I was going to have to do for myself. So I was tapped into people early on. I remember seeing, going to see lectures and workshops and series down at UDC and at Howard University when I was in my teens. I was looking at brothers and sisters speaking about things that I couldn't relate to at the moment, but later on in life I could better relate to. And that's what got me into the food space. And I said, hold up, wait a minute. We're all talking about nationalism. We're all talking about, plotting a course and gaining control of our destiny and really controlling our communities. How can we control anything if we don't control our own food? So that's what got me into the food space. Because I'm living in Temple Hills, Maryland, and every time I wanted to get healthy food, I had to go outside of my community and get it. So I said, well, wait a minute, let's bring that back home. So I started in my garage. And that was back in 1995. So I tell people before, Drake said it, I started in my garage, now I'm here.
And so what were you doing in the garage?
What was I doing in the garage? I had 21 products and 5 customers. So I was packaging up products in order to distribute to 5 households every single week. And I did that for about a year until I tapped into a drug rehabilitation program that needed a whole lot of product. And it allowed me to really launch my business. When I first opened up on Georgia Avenue, I had them as my #1 customer. And having that behind the scenes, people couldn't figure out, well, how are you so successful so fast?
What business was that on?
That was Everlasting Life.
Okay, so when you first started it and you were able to start it because you were servicing people who were on drugs and things of that nature. They needed to clean their system out to get healthy again, to start getting life again. Rap
Incorporated had created a program where they were now cleaning up people not only from drugs, but just bad habits across the board. And one of the biggest bad habits we have is bad eating habits. So I was able to supply them. And really good relationship, really good brother, Ron Clark. And I appreciate him giving me that opportunity. It wasn't long after that I realized that this had the potential to be big. So I'm on Georgia Avenue. I moved up to where Columbia and Georgia Avenue intersect. I was there for 2 or 3 years, and I said, wow, all my customers are coming from Prince George's County. So let me go ahead and take this to Prince George's County. So I came out here, Central Avenue, 9185 Central Avenue in Capitol Heights. This was not only a food desert, this was a consciousness and life and positive energy desert. This place was really in a bad space, to the extent that we saw more police activity in this parking lot than we almost saw customers when I first moved in. But as we did on Georgia Avenue, right there, Georgia and Hobart Street, which was on 60 Minutes, is one of the baddest intersections in the United States of America. What we did there, we came out here and we became that beacon of light and hope. And we started bringing in some positive consciousness, not only in the food, but also in entertainment and in education, and just people congregating. It was really a positive interaction, and I'm really thankful for it. I can't say that it was about the money, but I'm thankful that money is being generated behind it, because otherwise it couldn't have gone as long as it's gone. So we're talking about 21, 22 years now that I've been doing this, providing healthy food for a community that I say is disserved and underserved. And it was disserved and underserved back in 2000. It's disserved and underserved today when you think about this community. There are no grocery stores that are close enough for people to just walk to. There are no places where we can get healthy food and get healthy information. Everybody's here picking us apart. You got the hospitals growing all around us, and that's success. Hospitals expanding and providing more services and more wings for cancer, diabetes, and autoimmune illnesses. That's called success in that world, because they can make more money. Well, my idea of success is, let's shut down the hospital and turn it into a recreation center, because we're not going to need it anymore, because everybody's taking charge of their health and they're eating healthy. So that's kind of been the underlying agenda behind it. How can we be a nationalist and serious about doing what we need to do in order to correct the problems, the ills that exist in our community, not only our physical, biological ills, but our emotional, psychological ills, our economic ills? How can we be serious about that when we're eating at the table of somebody who we've identified doesn't have our best interest at heart?
Okay, so what I'm hearing as I'm listening to you And you know, it's very interesting. Whenever I talk to very successful black entrepreneurs who, whatever they're doing, has some relation or relevance to their community, whether the work itself does or that they just happen to be relevant activists or socially responsible in the community. One thing I noticed that even though you may ask them an economic question, there's some positive social interest related to our people that is attached to their economic interest. In other words, they don't just, I want to make some money and I saw a way to make some money. It's always something like what you, it's not always exactly the depth of what you're saying, but what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, what you're doing is as much about, or maybe even more, helping our community in a tangible, relevant way than it is about you financially making a living. It's like both, but you found a way to make a living and to generate income while doing something that not only you enjoy, but I would assume that gives you great sense of pride and a sense of calm going home at night knowing that you're servicing your community's health.
You know, brother, it's interesting you should bring that up, because two weeks ago a brother came in here and he and I kind of brought ourselves to tears in what he was saying. And he kept saying, brother, you didn't forget about us. You didn't forget about us. And I'm about to get into that teary space again, but he kept saying, you didn't forget about us, man. You didn't forget about us. You didn't go off and do your own thing and go to Rockville, you know, and set up shop there. You know, you didn't forget about us, man. And he kept saying it. We took pictures, you know, a brother that's well known in the community, a well-entrenched entrepreneur, you know, but a grassroots entrepreneur nonetheless, you know. He kept saying it, and it started registering in my mind at another level, that I didn't know that people saw it that way. But I started paying attention as I sat out front of the restaurant, and you get the people to come through, and they'll just say thank you. And you know, if you don't know anybody, you would think I just did something for them. But I know what the deal is, and they say thank you because, you know, man, we got a spot. We got a spot that we can call our own. We got a spot that we can look. Jeannie can set up in our spot. You know, think about all the other spots, you know. But we got a spot that people can come to, sit down and eat, not only eat from the food, but they can eat from the intellectual information that's being shared amongst the people that are here. So I knew, you know, back in the day, as I was making this transition from a job that was paying me at minimum $250,000 a year. I was balling, brother. I was balling. So it wasn't about,
you was doing it.
I was making money. Money wasn't my issue. You know, and that's what allowed me to do all of this. That I wasn't trying to spend it all, but I wasn't, you know, getting all excited. I wasn't riding around.
What were you doing then?
I was an IT professional.
Okay,
yeah.
So you were in IT.
Yeah.
Comfortable.
Very comfortable. Selling to the federal government and was making tons of money. One of the reasons why we were making so much money, what I did in particular, is because I had the whole federal government and most of the people that were running the computer shops in the DC metropolitan area looked like you and me. So it wasn't even a typical sales process. Right. It was like, yo, what's up, bro?
I got you.
We can do this and do that. And I'm gonna take care of you on this, and you know, just make out a $35 million project, and we'll do it. You know, bam, and I got you covered. You and the wife, y'all gonna take that trip. Yep. And I did what they do, you know, and I was successful at it. But I realized that, you know what, I can't keep grinding and leaving my people. So, you know, I tried to do it simultaneously. So I was running the restaurant at the same time. I was continuing to work out there in the world. But at a point, it was just too much. You know, especially when the guy came up to me, they paid my phone bill, and they said, wow, you're on your phone more than anybody else in the entire office combined. And, you know, we don't get it. You know, what are you doing? What's going on? And they started becoming more suspicious. And I said, you know, let me let it go. Before it gets to a point where it gets ugly, let me go ahead and let this go. You know, so they were putting pressure on me to produce more. And I said, all right, I guess this is my time. So I went in, I left. I started Everlasting Life. I'm going to tell you, the first day I opened up Everlasting Life, which actually I was still working in corporate America at that time, but the first day I started Everlasting Life, we made $18. I'm scratching my head, wondering like, whoa, what am I getting myself into? This is crazy, you know. But, you know, grinding and educating, you know, much like what we're doing today. You know, opening up eLife Media was about providing a vehicle that would allow us to get the word out, educate people, empower people, but also market and promote what it is that we're doing so more people can know about us. So it all fits together, and I'm excited, I'm thankful. Every day I'm thankful. I got problems. I got more problems than you can imagine, brother. Every single, I'm about to tear up again. More problems than you can imagine, just associated with businesses. running businesses up against the opposition of competition, up against the opposition of my customer base. Really, you ever heard the expression, you're saving the people that don't want to be saved? That can be my reality on any given day. People will walk through my door and they'll come through and they really don't want to be here. They don't want to be here. They don't want what you got, but they know they need it. They know they got to get it. They end up getting it. They like it, and then they become longtime customers. But on the front end, you gotta go through that tug of war, to make them, oh, come on, man, hold on, just try it. Just try, see what it does for you. See what your blood pressure looks like, your cholesterol and your diabetes. See what all that looks like after 2-3 weeks of doing this consistently. Then they get it, and they got it, they hold on, but it's still that tug of war. But this is the fight, this is the platform, this is the theater that I chose, or maybe that was chosen for me. I'm excited about it, and I'm thankful.
What I'm hearing is interesting. Because we're talking economics, that's what the program is about. But really, that's not the direction it's going. What it's really talking about, to me, is responsibility. Mm-hmm. In other words, there are missing pieces in our community. One of them is health.
Sure.
And looking for people other than ourselves, even ourselves sometimes, our own folks, are not necessarily on the forefront of filling those gaps of health. In fact, there's a lot of times some of the things from other communities and some in our own community is what's making us unhealthy.
Right.
And what I'm hearing is that you have found the gap, you filled the gap, and the reason I'm asking you, it appears that part of the economic strategy of what we could be doing as black people is looking at what is it that our people need, they don't have, and they could, even if it's not instantly, they could get addicted to, that will be in their best interest. And then finding a way to create it, maintain it long enough that our people can gravitate towards it and then build it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I go back to the days before I started Everlasting Life. One of the lectures I went to, I was working with IT equipment, remember? And I'm setting up these computers for this major food conference, and this woman is practicing her speech. And in the middle of practicing her speech, she said, if you control a man's food, you control, and up until this point in my life, I'm an IT professional. But the minute she said, you control him, like a Stepford husband, brother, I got up, I called my wife, I said, honey, we're about to open up a restaurant. She said, what? I said, I'll talk to you later. I hung up the phone, went back inside. I knew at that point that had been the trigger that caused me now to know that, okay, this is about to happen. We're about to launch this. Well, simultaneously in my neighborhood, everybody was getting ramps on their houses. And I was thinking, dang, man, is everybody just that lazy that you can't walk up the 5, 6, 7 steps up to your door? You got to get a ramp to get you up. And then I started saying, no, well, it ain't about lazy. People are sick. Like everybody, it was a wave that hit, and everybody got their leg amputated behind diabetes, and everybody was on dialysis, and everybody was challenged with other health issues that prevented them from being able to scale the steps and get into their homes, such that they needed wheelchairs or ramps so that they could get inside. I said, well, it seems like our community is under attack. So you talk about wartime, this is real warfare that I was looking at. And I said, in order for us to effectively engage this warfare, we have to now offer these people something that they can choose as an alternative to that which is destroying their health. So we went ahead out there with the healthy food, and it's been a struggle. It's been a challenge. I mean, you think about some of the things that you've made. You and I have had issues. You was drinking that whatever that was. And the name wasn't even right on the bottle. But, you was drinking it. And I'm not going to expose you, but already, you was drinking it. And I needed to take that from you so that you would know, hey, man, there's an alternative to that. And not only is it an alternative in that there's something else that tastes good that'll probably give you just as much energy, but it's not going to kill you, brother. And we don't need nobody dying, especially at the hands of the enemy where they paying the enemy to kill them. Come on.
I'm going to tell y'all, irritated you, I'm going to tell the truth. I shouldn't even tell the truth and shame the devil, but I'm going to tell y'all the truth. I got chumped, brothers and sisters. Yes, irritated Genie got chumped. I come in with my Arizona iced tea, Death Sugar Liquid, that I'm about to enjoy. I don't know what I'm thinking, right? But I just got it because I just stopped by the gas station. And I come in and I put it on the table. And I'm waiting to put this death in. I mean, like I walked in there to get something to eat because I gotta balance my unhealthiness with the healthiness. So of course, I'm going there to get something to eat real quick to come out and kill myself. And I walk back and it's a can that looked almost the same, but it was a different name on it. And I'm like, this don't look like my can. I don't remember buying this label. And I look around the corner, and there's Doc standing at the trash can with my Arizona and dropping it in the trash can. And I had to think at that time. I had a lot of things to consider. This guy, he just Southeast chumped me, man. But one, he's actually giving me something that's healthy for me. 2, this dude kind of big. If you walk, he's a smiling guy or anything like that. He's a South Beach dude too, so you got to keep that part in mind. And 3, quite frankly, I realized the brother's doing it out of love. So I got to take the hit on this one, and I took the drink, and actually the drink was actually better than the one I had, even just in pure taste. But what I appreciate about the brother, because I watch it, and I'm going to say something because I'm going somewhere with this. It's funny, but there's something that's meaningful. Even though it's small, one thing, I've been around the brother long enough, I can say this. This has been my experience with this man. And y'all know me, I don't make up stuff. I'm not favorable towards people. I just tell the truth. One thing I noticed about this brother, he's a good brother. And what I mean by that is, he took that out of there. He didn't get paid. That's money out of his pocket, no matter how much it is. He took that because he was concerned about my health, put it in there, and then scolded me about what I did. But I never paid him for that juice. He wasn't concerned about it. He was concerned about me. And I noticed, like, when I watch him, and I study people, I really study people to really know who I'm dealing with. And ever since I've been here, one thing I noticed is that this brother, for the things that he has done, in general, if you compare him to the way most of our people respond to success, with the amount of success he has a standing restaurant, an establishment, a physical building with a studio in it, food, employees, all that. I can't say that I have that, and most of us can't. Most black people, he's in the less than 1 percentile of people who can boast of the things he's done. For someone at his magnitude, the amount of humility that he shows, his capacity to get along with people with egos like myself and various other people around here, it's extremely impressive, because most people who attain his level of success, who are black, get to a point where they feel so much better than the rest of us that these egos cannot peacefully coexist in the same space and time. And I know, because I'm one of those people who has achieved a certain level of success and probably is underneath my ego. So when I see him at a whole different type of level, dealing with people on all levels and treating them the same, I find it to be extremely impressive. What is it about your approach, your outlook, or your upbringing, or whatever it is, that separates you from the arrogance and egotism that I generally see with people who attain the type of success that you have?
I'm not doing this for money, brother. I'm not doing this for prestige. I'm not doing this for prominence and recognition. I'm doing this because I want to help people get this right. Because I realize as a person who's standing in a light tower, and I'm not at the top of the light tower. I'd like to get to the top of the light tower, but I'm in this light tower shining a light on a path that I'm every single day I'm shining this light on this path so that people can get this thing right. Because if we continue on the path that we're on now, we're going to expire. All of us are going to continue to expire early. We're going to continue to be ravaged by illnesses. We're going to continue to have our hormones just totally ravaged to the point where things are happening inside of us that we don't even know is going on, but we're being exposed to chemicals and realities that is forcing our bodies to do things that just ain't right. And we have to wake up. And so that was my charge. My charge was to, let me shine this light on this path. I got to shine a light on this path. So as much as we need to make money, as much as I've got 50 employees that work for me on a daily basis, that are helping me fulfill this visionary concept of nationalism, of health and wellness, of maintenance of the planet too, because there's a whole other side of this. But it's also about taking a community of people. If I counted the number of people who work for me who I know couldn't get jobs elsewhere, brother, you would think a little differently. You might think I'm really hood, But it's, giving these people an opportunity to take care of their families, to take care of their children, to take care of themselves, to live reasonably comfortably. All of that is part of that warfare. And sometimes I know what you don't know, or what the customers don't know, and I know a brother's going to be there for me because I know he knows what I know about him and what he knows about me and the relationship that we got. So, this is really about doing more than just making some money, but really being a beacon of hope and of light and a safe house in a community where people know when they get through this door, they know they can come to a register. Brother, you can't go to another restaurant. You can't go to a grocery store and go talking to people about, I got this illness, what do you think I should eat or not eat? Except that people can, they might have something that they remembered seeing on some television program, but to come and go to the register and be able to tell somebody, Doc, I got this challenge and that challenge, and I was wondering what, you might suggest that I eat. Sometimes I have to tell people, no, you don't need to eat anything in it. You need to go home and you need to drink some more water, and you need to get some fresh organic fruits and vegetables, and you need to eat those every single day until you see this thing begin to reverse, or until you get back in control. Well, you need to get some nutritional supplements, of which I don't sell at the moment. So, you know, I'm telling people because I want people to get it right. You know?
And I want to make a point on this too. And for people that are listening, I'm really telling the honest. This is not an endorsement of Doc right here, but I'm just being real. You know, I always watch people like saying tests. And one of the things I noticed, right according to what you're saying, a lot of people who are doing things in business see anybody who's doing anything related as competition. Mm-hmm. What I notice is that, you know, first of all, I have to thank you for opening it up to allow us to have the opportunity to do the Chopping It Up here, because it was through the Chopping It Up discussion that, you know, Straight Black Pride movement, one of the things we had already said is that every chapter has to have a garden. But we hadn't actually gone through the process of making it happen. Mm-hmm. In just the cross dialogue in here, it came across that what we need to do is go back to what our grandparents used to do and start growing our own food. When I came and told you, hey, look, we've started this process and we can do this, and I said, well, let me ask him, because I don't want to feel like this competitive, but, you know, we're going to grow some stuff. Can we come here and everybody in the local area bring their produce and swap it out, and even maybe you all could use some of it, whatever the case may be? You were very excited about it and took it to the next level, started talking about, well, we need to be doing this and we need to be getting our produce from brothers and sisters here. And I said, whoa. I said, here's someone who sees the bigger picture. You're already establishing business, but other black people getting into the health business, even at a starting point, that's not competition to you. That's more people doing the right thing, and you liked it and you want to encourage it. What accounts for you looking at black people who are doing positive things similar to what you're doing or in the same lane, as opposed to being competition? What is it that accounts for you seeing it as support or going in the same direction?
Because I didn't forget, brother. I didn't forget where we've come from. I didn't forget back in the 70s and the late 60s, but in the 70s when we were all together as a community, we were strong, we were tight, we had families, we had full households, mom, dad, grandma, auntie, and all the children were in the house. I didn't forget, and I saw this thing happen. And I watched this as a child. I watched this unfold. I watched the Nixon years and the Reagan years, and I watched these things happen in our community. And I said, hold up, man, something's happening. And I have an eye to see it. I'm going to tell you, one of the biggest moments in my life was Soweto. You know, and I don't know how familiar the audience is of that incident in South Africa, where the children of Soweto were clamoring and protesting, and there was an uprising because they said, we don't want to just learn the Pretoria language. We want to learn the languages of the world so we can go other places and engage people, because nobody knows Pretoria but y'all people that are teaching us. So all we're going to be able to interact with is you. And to have that as a foundation, that becomes the impetus behind so much of what I do. It's still there. It still burns inside of me. I wish that we could, you know, come together and be stronger as a community. So this becomes the vehicle and the foundation upon which I can do that. I don't see anybody as competing with me. Most of the vegan soul food restaurants that are in this area actually were started, or those people used to work for me. And I don't have any problem with that. I wish them much success. There's enough people for all of us to generate enough income and to do what we need to do. So I don't see that as a threat as much as I see that as an opportunity for us to make each other better. And likewise, when you were talking about the farms and people raising and growing their own produce, man, I see that. What better way to support my own community than those that are local with little mom and pop shops or gardens in the backyard? I can begin to put some of the resources that are coming through me that I'm sending to Pennsylvania, and I'm sending to New Hampshire and Connecticut and Maryland, way down in Maryland. Now I can begin to recirculate those resources right here amongst my people. Man, that's a home run. So what if it costs me a little bit more? So what if it doesn't quite have the same whatever? You know, I don't care. I can fix that in the kitchen. So we fix that up, man, put that out on the line, and then I'm able to tell the story. And when you tell that story about this food came from, you know, one of the folk here, you know, that has a garden in their backyard, and then all of a sudden, you know, people start seeing how this thing fits together. They see how Everlasting Life fits together with eLife Media, how it fits together with what it is that you're doing and what so many other people are doing. You talked earlier about the pop-up bazaar that we have every first of the month. Well, that's so that people can incubate their ideas and see whether their ideas can actually work and go somewhere. So this becomes that platform where people can launch whatever their idea, they want to be an entrepreneur, they want to continue what they're doing, they want to expand what they're doing, this becomes it, man. We got to work together. We can't do this by ourselves. I can't be successful by myself. There's got to be some other people that are successful in order for us all to raise up.
You know, I really appreciate that because, you know, you said it before kind of in jest, but it's actually a realism. Based on the nature of the work that I do and the climate that we're in today, most black businesses, and any, not most, all are going to have some concern as to what is the impact going to be of me having someone this outspoken in the black community to have any relationship whatsoever that somebody might say, you know this person even. And, you know, when I came and asked, you know, what is the possibility of doing vending here? We sat down and had a conversation, and we talked, and you were honest. You weren't afraid to say, hey, these are the concerns, what we have to do, and we were able to do it. And in my estimation, from my perspective, on both sides has been very, 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 very beneficial. So much so that I had gotten out of radio, had no desire to come back, but because of what you're doing here, and because I really was, you know, starting to try, this goes to, and I'm talking to black business people out there, this is something I just want people to hear, because I think it's good in what we're talking about, black economic development. When you invest in people, good people reinvest in you.
That's right.
So the brother gave me an opportunity to do this, and then to chop it up specifically, where I can talk to people and let the community come in and give ideas about what needs to happen. In doing that, I committed myself to saying, I want to help this place grow. And of course, what I do is talk. So when the opportunity came up to do something like this and to make this happen, I said, I got to do it because I'm not doing this, honestly, as much for myself because I've done it before. I'm doing it because I'm like, I see how great this institution is. I see what it does on every level. It's not just the food and the physical health, but the conversations that occur in this environment. The black business people who have no other place that they can go and afford to pay and put their stuff on display and see if what they have can work and what they can do better, they don't have a place to do that. This place provides them an opportunity to do that. The voice that we have when we do our chopping it up of the community, of the person who knows something but doesn't have any kind of title, that voice in here is as loud as any person with a PhD or whatever the case may be when they come here and do it. And it's all because you facilitated and nurtured an environment where people come with respect. We can have disagreement and it's okay. And it's just a climate and a culture of healthy interaction. Food, eating, talking, music, just the whole entire culture. It's almost like it's its own little world. It's almost like whenever I come here, my mind starts working and I start thinking economic. I start saying, man, I wish we could do something with the parking lot and have weekends where you come to Everlasting Life, here's the food, but we also use the parking lot, play some music, and people gather and have youth, children in the moon bounce because you kind of created an oasis of black, positive, uplifting interaction in this environment. Was that something that you consciously thought about in creating what you created at this point?
Well, absolutely. And that's why the name Everlasting Life has stuck and held. Because we created the idea of we have to go from thought to reality of what this paradise would be. You know, I'm not fond of religion. I'm not fond of a whole lot of these other experiences that people are engaged in. I'm more fond of what it is that we have to do to create that heaven right here, right now. And so, you know, this was my effort, my attempt at creating that. That I knew that if people ate this way every single day or more frequently, they could change their personal health realities. I knew that if I could connect up with vendors, and you'll see vendors in here that drop off food. Not all of them look like us, but they're more and more and more and more. And that's on purpose. That we're finding vendors with products that they're able to sell their products to our customers. And we see upwards to 400 people coming through here every single day. We'd love to see 800, but we see 400 people come through here every single day coming through and getting these products. And yeah, it looks like you're giving the money to Everlasting Life, and some people think they're giving it to me, but I know I'm distributing those resources. I know that young sister who delivers the cakes, and I know the brother who's got the ginger drinks in the cabinet and the sea moss drinks inside the cabinet. I know the 4 or 5 people that I hired specifically so that they can produce raw organic juices that we sell out here. This is my effort to be that middleman and allow this to be a conduit through which we can take the resources of the collective body, so I can take the pennies from the community And those pennies will add up, and then I'll be able to provide dollars to people that have businesses and dollars to people that work here looking to be able to take care of themselves. So it's definitely what you said. It's an oasis, and it's on purpose. And it was my original vision. And my original vision, when I talked to my wife, the other part of that conversation that I didn't say, or I said when I got home, is that I want to open up what was called that time Fresh Fields. I want to open up a black-owned Fresh Fields. And that was my goal and agenda. So the space that we're in now is actually two-thirds bigger. But we had to reduce that size when we didn't get the community support that we thought we would get. We got it now, but it was slow. So I had to reduce my size, but we stayed here, and we're gonna stay here. It's gonna expand. You know what's happening in the mall and in this community. It's expanding, it's growing. We're gonna be a part of that, and we're gonna continue to provide that oasis to the community, and a space where people can come, a safe haven where people can tell and talk about and offer and share and interact and network with positive people about positive things that are gonna move us forward.
All right, so I know you got to go because you got a lot of business stuff to do. So I'm going to ask you this last question, and I want you to take as long as you want to answer it because you're the kind of person we want to answer this question. My question for you, or my request is, if you were talking to black people out here who either, any of these people, and I'm saying you can talk to all of them at the same time, the ones who probably have something that they could do that they do extremely well, but never thought about the idea of doing it for themselves and working for themselves. Or people who have something they do great, they want to work for themselves, but they're afraid and don't know how to start and don't know what to do. What is your advice for people who either want to be in business or should be in business for themselves in our community?
I'm gonna answer that on two levels. One is I'm actually opening up a business concierge that is going to be here so that people can come in and we can interview them and get their ideas, get their financial status, get their vision for themselves, what it is that they want to make happen, figure out how we can integrate whatever they're doing into what we're doing first. Because then we know we can hold their hand through the whole process and we can monitor them and we can make sure they're doing everything right. And we can grow them to the point where we've grown other people and they've gone off and done great things. That's one level that I think I would communicate to people, that we want to be that partner with you to help you get your footing so that you don't have to take that 100% risk. We know that we got the customers coming through here. We know that your product has value. We know that there are people that want what you got. So we can connect up those dots for you so you don't have to do that work. It's not going to cost you the same amount of money that it's going to cost you if you were to do that through one of the traditional corporate entities that provide those kind of services. And in addition to that, for that mom and pop that's sitting at home and can't figure out what to do, but every single month there's more month than there is money, that we are offering them likewise an opportunity to invest in everlasting life. And it's not because everlasting life needs the investment. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt us, but we're not at a point where we're clamoring and struggling and trying to figure out, okay, we need this extra money so that we can make it. But we're giving people an opportunity to expand what it is that we do. And I'll give you the example. Let's just say we wanted to bring Irritated Jeannie here to the restaurant to speak. So what we would do is we would find out what Irritated Jeannie costs to speak. So it might be $1,500. So let's say $1,500, we're going to be able to commit that we can provide $1,500 to you to be able to come here and speak at the restaurant. And we got people, and we'll just throw out a number. We got 15 people with $100. So they got that covered, and now they're going to take those tickets and they're going to sell those tickets for $20, and we may be able to generate enough resources from the ticket sales that we would be able to double people's money, maybe triple people's money, and they don't have to do much. So again, we're taking the collective body, taking those collective resources, taking those collective minds, and bringing them together to work within this space so that they can generate some flow for themselves and likewise continue the success of the business. So I'm seeing us continuing our networking. I see us continuing to build and create and build on ideas and concepts that we've seen work. And I just see that we have to come together. I think we need a business think tank. We need a health think tank. We need a political think tank. We need a visionaries think tank so that we can start charting this course out. Because many of us don't think past a couple of months. We need to start thinking past 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 50 years. We need to start looking at life that way so that we can now know how what we're doing today is connected to what we're trying to make happen, 50 years from now. And I see that today as I saw it, 22 years ago when I started Everlasting Life. We have to start planning for tomorrow for our children. We have to connect up what our parents went through and what our grandparents went through and what they desired for us, and connect it up to what we desire for our children. It's a continuation.
When is this black business communicative, when are you going to start that?
It's actually starting in July. We're doing consultations now. We've gotten people signed up. They can go to my Facebook page at Dr. Baruch on Facebook. And you can go out and you can sign up to get a consultation so we can see what kind of help you need, see how what you're doing. Again, the first thing I'm going to look at is how can you work with us so that we can help you and know you're going to be successful. It's not even going to be an issue. You're not taking the risk of going out there and doing something somewhere else. You can take what you've got and make it work right here, right at home, and we can already tell you, look, here's our purchase order agreement right now. So before you even get started, we like what you're doing so much that we're going to give you a purchase order agreement. And one of our clients is actually going to be delivering something. It should be here this week. And you'll see something new here at Everlasting Life. It's crunchy. And y'all seen it before, but it's coming back. And this is one of our, again, a person that we're connecting with so that he can get his product out to the community. So we're making it happen, brother, on as many levels as we can. And it's not that we want to stop there. So people who want to invest at that $100, that $50, that $500 level, we have that opportunity. But we're also open to the idea of bringing in, people who have larger or more resources. And we can take those and begin to buy plots of land so that we can now do larger farming situations, or we might be able to invest in something. We might be able to build a resource center or a resort so that we can start taking our people out of this muck and mire of all of this confusion down here. We can take them someplace where they can get back in touch with themselves, back in touch with nature, and start opening up their minds so that they can hear and really get information encoded in them that's going to help move them forward. All of that is on the agenda. It's just, you got to get through the day-to-day grind before you can actually engage that. But I'm excited, brother. I'm still young and youthful and vibrant. I get a couple areas it hurt. They didn't used to hurt. My vision ain't as good. I keep my glasses on me, but I'm still grinding. I'm still young in the mind, and we're gonna make this happen. So I look forward, to continuing to work with you and others who have a desire to see things get better for us. And as we work together, our community will benefit. So again, I thank you and look forward to a long and beneficial, on both ends, beneficial relationship, going forward.
Absolutely, Doc. And for brothers and sisters out there, y'all know, again, those that know who I am and what I do, I'm not a favorable person to people. I can tell you, and this is coming from me, this is direct, this is personal. My experience with this brother is that he's a good businessman, a good black man, an honest man, upstanding man, and is genuine and does what he says he's going to do. So what that means is, if you're interested in doing something and stepping out there and it sounds interesting to you and you're going, I don't know, I'm telling you from my perspective, I'm putting the rubber stamp on it, Irritated Genius Southeast. This is a black man that you can rely on. He gives his word. He's not out here to hustle you and out here to take from you. This has been my experience with him, and it's not a year yet, but it's going on a year, and it's been on a daily basis. And I would say the brother does good business. He cares about our people. And if he says he's going to do it, he's going to do it. Give it a shot. Come on over here. If you got that money to invest, you want to do something, be part of something, I would say this is a safe place to do it and a safe person to do it with, because he's going to be upfront, open, honest with you, be able to talk about things, and you'll be able to make some money and grow and learn from someone who's not talking about it, but who's doing it. So with that said, I don't know, do we have any questions that you see there? Anybody ask any questions?
Let me just drop a couple more pieces that, sure. For those of you who'd like to get in contact with me, sure, you can come to the restaurant, Everlasting Life, 9185 Central Avenue in Capitol Heights, Maryland, right at exit 15B off of the Beltway. You can also find me on Facebook, which is probably one of the best ways to get in contact with me. And for those of you who are still, doing telephones, can I give out my number, or would you?
Absolutely,
okay.
I want you to do that.
330.
If you want to do that.
Yeah,
okay.
I want to do that. 330 Baruch 1. That's 330-227-8241. 330-227-8241. Let's come together. Let's work together. We also have a new thing that we're implementing every single month at all of my businesses. We are rolling out a Customer Appreciation Day so that we can expose people to this without it being so cost prohibitive.
So we're making it more favorable. We're going to bring people in so that they can experience this, and it won't just be for those who have that extra money, but sometimes those who have the least. You know, we're going to bring them in so that they can experience good, healthy eating, and we'll figure out how to make it work for them. But again, I appreciate you, family, and look forward to seeing you all here.
Fantastic.
Yes,
all right, Doc. Take care.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, y'all heard that. That's Dr. Baruch, serious brother. You heard the humility. I think that was a stretch over to talk about, can I give out my number, as if I could actually say no to the man that owns the building. But that was a phenomenal program. We heard from somebody who's really doing it, and that's what we like. This is what we do. We also, we got my brother, good friend, our brother, Professor Griff here, and he's out there. I'm going to try to see if we can catch it. Oh, he's gone. Okay, yeah, he just stepped out. I was going to bring Professor Griff in here to get a chance to talk to him. But what I'm going to do now, for those who are watching it on Facebook Live, I would suggest you can still watch it there. But for what I'm about to show you, let me move to the middle here. Can you move the camera over just so I can be right in the center of that shot? Because by the way, now since I'm here by myself, we got a little bit more longer to go in the program talking about Black economic development. I'm actually going to show. Thank you. My sister Al Kamar is in here, riding shotgun, doing some managing the program for me, helping out. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to show something, brothers and sisters, and I'm going to show you just what the doc was talking about and something that we're actually going to be doing coming up soon. Right now, of course, it's being done at cost, but we actually realize that this is a service that our community is loving. Every place that we've gone out, the brothers and sisters that we've gone out to have absolutely positively loved what they received, and that's why I would ask everybody at this moment, go to elifemedia.net, because what we have now with elifemedia.net, if you go there to watch it there, you don't have to get rid of your Facebook Live, but just go there, turn down your volume on your Facebook for a second and go to elifemedia.net and do the stream. The reason I want you to do the stream there is because what I want you to see, I'm going to show you. Now, Warner Horizon, Irritated Jenny always like to say, I can show you better than I can tell you. And even if it is chopping up, I'm always Warner Horizon. Jeannie is always Jeannie. We are doing our straight black gardening, and I just want you to see what it looks like, the service that we're doing for our community at cost now, and then talk about a little about what we're about to do as a movement, Straight Black Pride movement, to go out there and do this around the country and really around the world. We have straight black gardening already going on in Uganda, and I really need to kind of show you some videos of that. I didn't even think about that. I would have showed you some of the stuff we got going on there. But I'm going to show you what we did this weekend right here in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. And just take a look at that. And again, you'll be able to hear it if you stay on the Facebook Live. But if you go to elifemedia.net, you'll actually be able to watch it as well at the same time. All right, brothers and sisters. I know y'all looking and saying, if you ain't know no better, you would think I was in the southbound lane trying to get our people free and build something for some black people. But no, we're not there. Louis Ali We got all these beautiful young people. Look at this, strong, beautiful. Look at this. Right here in Washington, D.C., building gardens for our people so they can grow their own food. You got here's the illustrious doctor who put this all together. How you doing, Dr. Holmes?
I'm wonderful. We're doing great work here. We got our young people. We see the statesman, Brother Io, providing service here. People learning about gardening, learning how to bring life to themselves. Empowerment. That's all it's all about.
That's right. This is beautiful. I mean, these young people, and yet just look at the pile of dirt going down and going to that box. That's it. He like a steel worker right there. He got the big one. Look at these little young brother. When he heard that, you get a lot. See. Now he just heard me commenting on the older brother. Look at it. Look at that. Look at that little young brother. He like, oh, okay, the big show we can get. Oh man, that's a man. That was a man load, son. That was a man load he just put in there. I don't know if you're old. I don't know if that's legal. I don't know if you're old enough. We might get some child labor laws going on here. He putting up some serious dirt over here. We can do anything we want, brothers and sisters, all for ourselves. Straight like God. And we actually went through the process. These are young people. Some football players. These are real people. This is a brother that we met here who's a frequent supporter of Everlasting Life. And there's no magic to this, brothers and sisters. We told people we were doing gardens. The brother said, are y'all still doing those gardens? We said, absolutely, brother. He's doesn't really know the irritated genie as a lecturer and all that kind of stuff. What he does know is he wanted to garden and been saying he's going to do it for years. Had never done it. And he said, you know, y'all said you're doing it. Could you come by my home and plant the garden? And guess what? We did just that. We planted the, wait a minute. I see a phone call on the line. One of my straight black pride. Look, we up here. Okay, I like this. We got some dynamics coming in here. We got Professor Griff coming in the house. And at the same time, how you doing, my brother Griff? What's up? All right. We got Brother Griff in the house, but we also got, let me see what's going on here. What's going on? Is somebody trying to cut? Oh, I got a cup. I actually got my brother from, y'all wouldn't believe, I got my Sudanese brother calling me from the Sudan right now, but I have to hold that call because we on live air. He don't know we live on the air, but I got my brother, the leader, the co-leader of the Straight Black Pride movement in Atlanta. To see Brother Griff, this is how they do. I'm about to bring the brother on, but let me just tell you how your own people do. This is how your own people do you. Now, we out here proud for what we did with the young people of the local garden that we did. We just showed the video. You didn't see it just now. We trying to brag about how we doing some things. Right. Of course, we got a brother down in Atlanta that's leading the chapter. Ain't nobody seen no garden until you see the stuff they've been growing. So now he decided he gonna call up here and brag. So I got to bring him on the line and let him show us something about his gardens. My brother Franklin, are you there?
Yeah, I'm good. I actually just called in to listen.
Well, look, I know you called in to listen, but this is what we're going to do. If you watch the E-Life Media, I'm going to have to show them some of the stuff you did here. Tell me, brother, what in the world, how did you manage to create these gigantic fruits and vegetables that you got? Yeah, this brother, I'm dead serious, brother. What in the world did you do to produce this stuff?
I do some harvesting.
I'm showing.
Well, this is my third summer as well as 3 winters, and every time I reuse the seeds that from the previous year, my crops get bigger. So my seeds are actually adjusting just to my soil. So every time I reuse my soils, my own seeds. Next year they're even bigger. So I just changed from the above ground, the planter boxes, to this year, first year in the ground, with just my regular soil, some compost, and some mushroom compost, filled it together, and a lot of rain down here in Georgia, and this is what I got, yeah.
So that's about them Terminator scenes and why we shouldn't,
Yeah, we gonna jump in that, but this is what I want to know, brother. So you're telling me you take your stuff like we see here, like we were just showing it live. See, that's what we got. We got this technology like this. It's one thing to just talk about it, but like, you know, we always say we can show you better than we can tell you.
That's right.
So we were just showing people what you were doing while you were talking. So my question to you, so you take out the seeds from the things that you grow in your straight black garden down in your home, and then you dry those seeds out and you replant them the next year, and you're saying each year the things grow even bigger?
Yes.
Wow. So in other words,
because
you don't have to buy seeds each year. You don't go out buying seeds. Once you've had a harvest, you take your own seeds from one of the plants, save those seeds, and replant them the next year?
Yeah, you don't have to. You can use your own seeds.
Wow.
Just like when you eat your cucumbers or whatever, just pick some of the seeds, set them to the side. You same thing with your zucchini and your squash. You can take those seeds and set them to the side, and when the next season comes, you just replant those seeds. Or if you want, you can go ahead and get the little starter kit from one of the big box stores or whatever, and you can go ahead and start growing your seeds before it's even time to actually plant them. So that way you have a small plant. You just plant the small plant in the ground from your own seed.
So what you're telling me is that, and when you start your seeds that you're resowing, do you put them directly in the ground first, or do you start them as plants in the house and then put them in the ground?
Directly in the ground.
Wow. So you're telling me you bought seeds the first time to plant, and since then, now that you're resowing the seeds, not only are you growing your own food, but you don't even have to go buy seeds each year to grow your own food.
Yeah, I've bought seeds twice because the first year I grew so many different things that was like overkill.
Okay.
So I revamped everything, and then I bought a couple of different seeds that I wanted to try out. Like this year, I bought eggplant because I had never grown eggplant before. But since my soil was already so rich, that I even had like tomato plants growing like in spots where I didn't even plant. Just where tomatoes had maybe dropped off, where the squirrel had ate tomatoes, the seeds went into the soil, and they grew the next year.
So basically, you got a self-preserving or replenishing garden, and you got seeds that you resow each year, and the only time you have to go buy seeds now is when you want to plant something new. So basically, you're becoming in the direction of being food-wise self-sufficient at your own home.
That's right.
Are you growing enough that you could sell?
Not really. Not enough to be able to eat long enough and sell.
Okay. So, but you're growing enough that you can pretty much, you don't have to buy peppers from the store.
Right. Like one zucchini, we can eat off for like 3 or 4 days.
Wow, and we're looking at the crop that you actually have here. This is phenomenal, brother.
Good.
This is phenomenal, brother. Well, I'm so glad you called. You calling us from down there, showing off from the Straight Black Pride movement chapter down there in Atlanta. You got anything else you want to say before we close out, brother?
That's it. I love what you're doing with the guards. I was actually showing the guys here at work the last project that y'all did, and I can't wait. I got about 3 or 4 people that's ready to do something, so I'm just waiting on the date to come up so we can go ahead and get them set up, and we can put it on the Straight Black Guards page and, blast it out to show all the good things that we're doing for our community.
Hey, man, we appreciate you. The United. We got some people watching from the UK, and I want everybody, if you're watching in the UK, do me a favor, because we're about to get Professor Griff online right now. If you're watching the UK, please tell everybody it's 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock our time, which I think is 7 o'clock to 9 your time in the evening. Every Monday, we're live. So now the people from the United Kingdom, people from Ghana, people from Uganda, people from Nigeria, people around the world that want to check us out, but we were coming on so late at night, 7 to 9, you can't catch the Straight Black Pride Movement radio live. You can now catch us live, and you never know what's going to happen. Like, we didn't even advertise this, but when you're the irritated genie, you get stuff like this. Celebrities come by, big men in the community. Yeah, we got Professor Griff sitting right here, shotgun, and we about to look. We got our brother calling from the Straight Black Pride Movement in Atlanta, showing off with the Straight Black Garden, and then I'm about to go to Professor Griff, brother. So, brother, we appreciate your call, my brother. Keep doing that great work that you're doing. And tell your queen, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all, man.
Yes, sir. Straight black pride.
Straight black pride. So see, that's how we doing it. We got this going internationally. We got people from all around the world tuning in, and of course I have my brother. He don't really need no introduction. I'll be sitting here just showing off that I know you, trying to brag that I know the brother by telling. This is Professor Griff of Public Enemy, the world-renowned brother in the house. Let me ask you a question, because today we talking about black economic empowerment.
Right.
All right. At one time, you were a celebrity, getting paid big money for what you were doing in the decent money.
That never happened.
let me
Trust me, that never happened. That never happened, man.
Let me say this.
Well, you kind of at the time, at the peak when that was about to happen, I got kicked out of public enemy.
Right.
So I never was there. I never made this big money. I was never there.
Well, let's say, okay, you never got there. Well, let's say like this.
Money.
You was making decent money. You wasn't no broke dude, and you was on your way because you were the most popular group in the black community at the time.
Right.
Probably, maybe in the world. Really, if we looked at the timing and when it was exploding, and then of course you got put out. But my point being, since that time, you've not gone out and that I've seen had a job.
Oh no.
You have been independent.
Yeah.
Taking what it was you were doing then, giving information, and you found a way to support yourself. I know it's been hard. We've talked before economically, but tell us what that process has been like, how difficult it's been, and what you've been able to do to make it.
I mean, it's very difficult, but the thing that I was taught by some of the ancestors, then elders, was I had to look within inside of myself and pull up those gifts until I could become familiar with what those gifts are. I don't know what's in me to do. I never knew I was going to be a publisher, an author. I was terrible.
How many books you got now?
7.
7 books.
I was terrible in high school.
You wasn't good in English. That wasn't your class.
I wasn't good in English, math, none of that, man. Because I was a rebel. Because I had back then, my whole idea was to just handle that business. Because I didn't kind of think I wasn't living past 21 anyway. So it's like I really didn't care. At 22, I'm like, what am I going to do?
Wait a minute,
but no, to answer your question directly, I went inside the self and pulled out certain aspects.
So how old were you when you was in Public Enemy and you got kicked out of the group? How old were you then?
You kind of figure I was late 20s, early 30s.
Wow, so here you are, you had done what you were doing, which is the information and the S1W thing. So you were taking your gifts, you had found one way to make money, and then you were making a living, and then you got thrown out of that, and now you have to shift because you can no longer do that because you got boxed out of the mainstream of the music industry. So now you got to remake yourself again.
No.
Okay.
Almost like that. I was speaking and doing what I'm doing now before Public Enemy.
Oh, okay.
I always tell people, and this is no insult to you or anybody else that's watching and listening, Public Enemy didn't make me, I made it.
Got you.
So I was Griff doing what I do before Public Enemy.
Okay.
This is how come Public Enemy, when it took off, it actually took off. You understand what I'm saying? Because we were already bringing those elements to the table.
Okay, so you all were already doing whatever it is that you were doing. Y'all just put it all together as a group. You bringing that information and that militancy. Chuck bringing the DJing and his
Chuck bringing
with
the writing and the MCing.
And the MCing, okay.
Terminator X bringing the DJing.
Okay.
Wizard KG, Hank Shockley with the Bomb Squad.
Okay.
And we just kind of brought the elements together, and of course Flavor with
his musical stuff and something or another.
Right.
Okay. And y'all made something happen. Man, this thing was going, and let's see, it's still going. Okay, I think we still live. And so you were able to take this now, make 2 adjustments. One was the adjustment to go and then been doing the music full time to some degree. Where you were entertainers, you had to travel, so you had to be prepared to travel whenever they called you. When you were in Public Enemy.
Talking is now on wax.
Right, on wax, and then you got to go and tour with it, so you got to do that. But now that is pulled from you, and then you got to reach and go do what you were already talking. But before, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, when you were talking it to begin with, because you had not necessarily been identified in the same kind of way by the world media and the world powers, you were able to do it, and our people were very receptive. And so, when our people can come hear you and nobody says you shouldn't be there, they're more receptive.
Right.
But now you got this mark, this white mark that's been put on you that you did something wrong that our people agree with, and now the mainstream has said, yo, this guy's a bad guy. So now you're talking the same talk, but I'm assuming it wasn't as easily received because everybody wasn't trying to bring you in. Everybody wasn't comfortable with you at that time.
That's a very intricate question and a deep question, because just today someone sent me aspects of Jay-Z's album. And it's easy for him to talk about Jews now. But when I did that 89 and laid it out, it was a problem. It's a big problem. So it's easy to talk about how they make their money, why they own everything. I did the same exact thing.
Now, because I remember there were times you didn't want to really talk about that. Can we talk about that now or no?
Yeah,
if you don't want to,
no, I don't mind. I mean, you know,
because I think
you gotta understand something. The conversation we're having, no one pays my tab.
So the
only thing they can do is flatten my car tire or something, or pull me over. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not asking them. I wasn't asking for anything then. It's just that I was rolling with some weak Negroes who didn't know how to stand up for themselves. You understand what I'm saying?
I got you. So let me ask you this, because I'm really dying to know this. Okay, this is the thing that really gets me. I've heard you when you're strong and really, when you're, Professor Griff, but when I listen to what you got in trouble for or became a target for, it was so moderate, honest, and accurate. And look, this has been years since I heard it, and this is the spirit that I remembered it. It was, look, most of the wars in the world are being created by an elite group of Jewish individuals that are causing these wars. There's no question about the Rothschilds and various other, these groups. It's not even, everybody's talking about it now. They might not call them Jews, but they say the name Rothschild and they're Jewish. So what is it that, and let me ask you this, because when you did it, it meant something, because it was when people didn't know this. And they didn't have no way to hide or anything like that. If people took to that information, then people start looking at them and they become targets of people's interests.
Right.
Now, it's been so overly put out there and so much spookism has been surrounded around it. It almost feels like to me you can say it, but it doesn't have the same
sting.
It doesn't have a sting, so you can say it safely because they don't care because everyone's already said it. Do you feel this kind of same way?
Yeah, I feel the same way, because I've heard it from different people on and offline, on their songs, off their songs, in lectures. All kinds of people have said similar things. There's DVDs out now. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm like, wow, I get shot at, poisoned, house burned down, thrown out of Public Enemy, all the divorced, all this stuff. Yeah, and that was cool to say. Thanks, y'all. Thanks, Chuck. I appreciate you, man.
And let me tell you what's so interesting, brother, that you say that. And it's not nearly to the extent that you dealt with it. But in 1997, I was telling, and you know what's really deep? I'm going to tell you something. I probably never said this to you. I had no idea. Brothers and sisters, I'm not making this up. I happened to see this video that came out. It only came out like a couple of years ago on YouTube that I saw it.
Hold on, I think she want to take a picture. If she don't mind, I don't mind. If you don't mind.
Yeah, she can take a picture. Yeah, there's no problem.
Yeah. She want to come in and take a picture.
Yeah, there's no problem. She can come and take a picture. No problem. So the thing is, I know that in 97, I was talking about the homosexual push on our people.
Right.
And people are crediting me for being one of the main people that is bringing this up. And it's true. But I saw a video of you, brother. It was in the 90s. And you said that homosexuality was taking over hip-hop.
Yeah.
But this is, look, I'm being honest. Look, I'm an honest person. Yeah, I went into the research and I spent a lot of time and energy doing this. But I got to keep it real. When I saw it, I was like, I had no idea that Professor Griff had already seen this. Right. And put this out there. This is before people had seen. This is before we were doing video. Now, in '97, I was doing it audio tapes and stuff.
Right.
But you did this. I think it was even before '97, because when I saw that you had done it, it was like back in the Public Enemy days. So it was like maybe '93 or '94 or something.
It was a minute ago, yeah.
I mean, it was in the early '90s. So you saw that way before we are
when
here
you're
today.
Conscious and you're awake. Now they say woke, but when you awake, you see these things.
But you saw it back then?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I'm saying in the early 90s. I'm talking about 91, 92.
Yeah,
you saw homosexuality taking over hip-hop.
I knew people that knew Russell was laying around with white dudes in the hot tub in New York City. Yeah, that wasn't nothing. Whoa. Poor Russell.
And I don't know if this is a hotbed issue, but I'll just ask the question, and I'm not telling you, you answer the way you want. I'm not putting you in the middle, but I'm saying, okay, so if you knew it with Russell Simmons, then my question would be, what about, were you familiar with the accusations of Bambaataa?
No, I didn't know that. They must have kept that thing hidden. You understand what I'm saying? I heard it. I heard it. But then, like I said, like let's just say if I heard something about you, not that, but just something else. Man, get out of my face. That's irritated genie.
Right.
Man, get out of here.
Exactly.
So that's how Bambaataa. I'm like, nah.
And let me tell everybody, this is the Chopping It Up program with Irritated Genie. We are live in studio with my brother, Professor Griff, having this dialogue. Today we're talking about black economic empowerment. And, of course, you know, we didn't expect to have Griff. We didn't know we were going to be honored with his presence. So, of course, the show is going and taking on its own gravity and direction. So okay, so you say you heard stuff.
Right.
But it was like just random rumor stuff. But then there was other people, like you said, you just mentioned Russell Simmons, that you saw the stuff and knew, hey, I know this is true. But when I heard your comment, you were saying hip-hop is being taken over and overrun by homosexuals. I mean, you were, and this is the early 90s. This is before I even knew that there was such thing as you could be gay and be in hip-hop. And you were saying this, and I didn't hear it when you said it, but I seen it on the tape now. What were you seeing back then in the early 90s that told you this?
The mere fact, and I said it in some of my lectures, the mere fact that you had people at the record company that wouldn't allow certain things on songs.
Like what?
But it wasn't broadcast.
But like what kind of things?
You cannot kill white people on songs.
Right.
You can't kill white Jewish people on songs.
You can't do that.
You can't molest white, rape, and all that kind of stuff. White when you can't bag white Jewish women,
That's right.
Japs, Jewish American princess.
Can't do it.
That whole thing. You can only do that with black women.
Right.
You can degrade black women, talk about black women, spit on, kick, all that kind of stuff. But as soon as you cross the fence and you start talking about them other people, oh no, we have to have a meeting on this, we have to do this. An album may not, we have to push it back, we have to shelve your album, that whole bit.
Okay, so I got that part. With definitely no question with Jewish elite.
But keep in mind, it's not out in the open.
Right.
This is in-house, inside of the record company conversation and talk. So keep in mind, I used to manage Public Enemy.
Okay.
So I'm hearing all this. And
as a manager, you're privy to conversations with other people not. So okay, so you're seeing that and you know, okay, you can't say something about the Jews. But what made you know to be able to say in the early 90s that the homosexuals are taking over? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
They were there.
So the same record executives, you saw that.
They were there, man. They weren't only the secretaries and they was the managers, the business managers, the lawyers, the accountants.
And you saw that?
Yeah, it's there. Yeah, of course I saw it, yeah.
Okay.
But my thing is, if you're thinking business,
you're trying to make your money.
You're trying to make your money. You don't care what this person is.
Just make that money.
I got to get this thing. But I had twofold mission. I had to do the business, and I had to propel Public Enemy forward.
Right. So you were getting that done, and you were seeing what happened. And in that comment, it was clear you were telling people what was happening.
Right.
My question is this: did you ever at that time anticipate the environment that we see today?
No. I mean, because even in my own family, some people I don't know, distant relatives, you see it at the family reunion, but hey, it's like okay,
just one guy here.
Yeah, and he was lifting pianos to prove that he
trying to prove that he wasn't what he was.
Yeah,
So okay, so you saw it and when you said the words that it's taking over hip hop, but you didn't actually think that there would be homosexual gay rappers and lesbian rappers, and that would be the standard. And if anybody said something about that you would become the enemy of the state.
Really, Public Enemy number one.
You really become Public Enemy number one.
Yeah.
You didn't.
So I mentioned it a couple of times, but it was like okay, just as to let people know, okay, while you're talking, what's coming down the road is this. Here y'all go, and kind of left it alone.
Okay.
Because I'm not one to. I'm not, as they say nowadays, I don't beat up on people with anything I say.
You just tell people the truth.
I tell the truth and I let them know when we prepare the table of accountability, oh yeah, y'all got to come to the table. I don't care what your sexual persuasion is. You got to come to the table because we got to talk. Because we have baby to protect.
And that's interesting you say that. And I was going to the original point I was going to make. You said something that was true. It was, now everybody's saying it, but you got persecuted for it. Me, with the whole thing we talking about, the sexuality thing, I started bringing this to the table and didn't even realize it at the time, but now it's pretty obvious, getting put out of countries and stuff like that, become persecuted for things that now all of a sudden people are starting to talk about. You know, people are starting to talk about in hip-hop, there are rituals you got to go through in order to be in that industry. And
you're just not coming into the industry and going from the projects to being that dude in the industry without them people are going to bind and tie you to them. I mean, anybody in this room, you don't really think they gave Puffy $76 million because he's cool? Because he ain't got talent like that? Stop that. You're crazy. No, so he had to go through those rituals. And that was one of the things I put in my book. And I used to get questioned on it, and I said, well, I'll tell you what. Here's $1,000. Here's one stack. Prove me wrong. And here we are today. And they can't. They can't because it's there. And now, man, they got rights and pay raises and stuff that you and I can't even get.
They have the right to say if we don't agree with it, that we don't get a chance to do anything.
But not only that, they're trying to shut you down.
Yeah. Well, and here's my question to you because, okay, we saw that at the time. Now we're in a situation where, like I said, I've been talking about that. What is the difference between what I'm saying and doing and what other people are doing? That some people can say and mention it and they can still continue to operate, but there's something about when I'm saying this now that I feel like I'm Professor Griff of the 2017s where it's like persona non grata. People are afraid that I said something that's illegal to say, hey, black man should be black woman, homosexuality taking over our community.
Let me say it like this and give you my what I've been through.
Okay.
Griff, what you said was true and it's right, but really, who cares? Griff, what you said was true, it's right, but your timing was off. Griff, you said it's true, yada yada yada, but your voice is too raspy.
You sound too angry.
Right. So let me understand this. So Genie is telling the truth, but it's the way he's saying it. So does that make it any less the truth? I don't understand. There's a gentleman. No, they're not. Because they don't want to. If the bully is threatening you all day, you know, win, lose, or draw, you got to fight after school.
And a lot of people don't want to fight.
They don't want to fight. They're getting sick, or to the nurse. They want to have their mom come pick them up so they don't have to face that after school. One day, but you see, but my thing is like you, I don't mind chin checking the bully just to see where he at. And even if I lose that day, I'm good.
Because you know the bully ain't going to, he going somebody else tomorrow.
Exactly.
You know what? Let me let everybody know the phone number. 641-715-3640. Again, that's 641-715-3640. Participation code 948-656#. That's 948-656#. I'm here with Professor Griff on Chopping It Up with the Genie. We're talking about black economic development and empowerment. And want you to give a call. You can also, if you got a question, you can either call up and talk, or you can go to Irritated Genie of Southeast page on Facebook, look at the live feed, and you can ask your question there, and we'll get it that way as well. Or if you want to just watch and see the dynamics, we can bring things in and out. You can also go to elifemedia.net, which is where we're going to start really directing people towards, because the interactive capacity that we're having, video, audio, we're going to be Skyping people in from different countries. What you're going to see is going to be phenomenal, what we're going to be doing over the next couple of weeks. We just learned the system today. This is our first time using this system and dynamics. So it's going to be, this is our first time. Oh, wow. And you see, we can go, if we have other things up, we can change up and show the different screens of the things that we have up there.
You got a studio audience.
We got a studio audience. You want to come on over here, sister? We have a sister that just came in. You know what happens when you see this is the benefit of bringing somebody like Professor Griff in. Once you bring him in, everybody's gonna want to come in. How you doing? What's your name, sister?
My name is Michelle Coker. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I'm with Open Voice Media.
Okay, you with Open Voice Media. So what are you doing here at Everlasting Life today?
Well, I'm a vegan. I've been vegan about 7 years, and this is the place that I come to get my nourishment.
All the way from Pittsburgh?
Not all the way from Pittsburgh. I moved here recently for an opportunity with our counterparts.
Okay, so you're in media as well?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. Well, we're glad to tell people again the name of your media and give them the email or the website that they can go and check you out.
Just go to Facebook, Open Voice Media, and you can check out some things that I've done lately.
All right, well, thank you. Give us your name one more time, sister.
Michelle Coker.
All right, Sister Michelle Coker, thank you for coming on out.
Thank you.
Yeah, brother. It's dynamic around these parts. We telling you, look, if you are sensible, look, I'm going to be honest. Now, Doc probably get mad at me for saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway because I'm Irritated Genie. That's what I do. If you straight, black, and proud, you come on down here anytime. We're doing our interviews and stuff like that, but you can come in if you want to say something real quick or something like that. It's open like that. That's what I love about what we have here. It's an open environment where, and me and you have done this before. You said stuff with me in interviews,
right,
that you've never shared with anybody before,
right?
And you asked me for some of those interviews to never share them, and I have not. Now I ain't gonna lie, but when the fellas come around, right, I say, "Yo, check this out." But I've never ever put those interviews out publicly, right, because you asked me not to.
Right.
But when you come around and you want, if there's something that's on your mind or heart, you would Irritate Genie, you can go ahead and say it to the people.
There's something on my mind right now before I get back to my lesson.
Shoot.
when the whole idea of economic empowerment comes up for discussion,
yes, sir.
People may not want to agree with this or not. But I really don't care. We have to look at, and then the homosexual issue came up, and you have to look at how are they making progress. And then when I was studying Dr. Francis Cress Wilson's work deeper, I found out even in the homosexual community, there's racism. And I want to ask, if I can, when I get into that conversation with pro-homosexuals, whoever they are, I don't know the terminology.
Pro-homosexuals.
Okay, that's cool. Not how y'all do it, but how do y'all deal with the racism inside of the homosexual community? And then how do black people feel? Because there's some white groups, homosexual groups, that don't like black people, whether you're homosexual or not. So how does that dynamic play out? And then we need to keep that all in one envelope, and that envelope is we're at war. We're not playing. This is for the survival of who we are as a people. So we need to keep that fresh and in the front of our minds. So when we're having this discussion, if it's not going to lead to some kind of conclusion, if it's not going to lead to some kind of solution, then why are we even discussing this? Let's discuss something else. We don't even need to discuss this. But they take these things and they use it only to attack those of us that are black or straight, black, and we have pride in everything that we do. And what is wrong with that? You understand what I'm saying? I don't bash anybody for whatever. Hell, look, man, I don't like the color orange.
But if they wear orange, you ain't gonna fight them.
I just don't talk about people that wear orange. I'm like, okay, I just don't like the color. I don't wear orange. I'm just saying, but it's like if you want to wear orange, that's your prerogative. That's cool. You do your thing.
And I had to wear orange today. Look at me.
I'm just using that as an example because this is orange.
I got you. I got you.
But I don't have that ingrained hatred. Like even when I did the interview with David Milk, I don't hate white people and hate Jews.
You were just telling the truth about what was going on the planet.
Listen, I had 30 to 40 books with me that day. I laid them out on the table, all written by Jewish people. And I did the same thing they did in the secret relationship between blacks and Jews. I laid the books out and quoted Jewish scholars. And for that, I get kicked out, shot at, poisoned, the house burned down, and the whole bit. Come on, man, y'all need to stop that.
That's real talk, man. That's real talk. So let me ask you this. If you had something to say, because we're wrapping up, we only got 10 minutes left. If you had something to say to our brothers and sisters out here, advice in terms of economic empowerment, somebody that does something, either they do something well and they're thinking about going out on their own, but they're nervous about doing it, or someone who does something extremely well, but they haven't even thought about going out on their own. What would your advice be to them about the possibility of working for themselves?
Well, you got to figure if you work now, what is it? Retirement, 65, 70, they're raising the age.
Yeah, they keep raising it.
And by the time you get to that point where you retire, where you think you could use some of that money, they already have plans for your money. You're not going to be able to take that money and then go into a quiet, small business for yourself. That idea is dead and gone. Ideas only have a certain time. And if you don't act right, a certain shelf life, if you don't activate it at the time, someone else. You know how many ideas I came up with? I sat on it and then I saw somebody else bring it to life. And I just said to myself, wow, I thought of that 2 years ago.
And I could have done it.
I could have did it. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, so do it. I don't care if you do it part-time, but I do something every single day that's going to benefit me financially. And I don't do the evil, wicked things. I don't use people.
I don't try to undermine and steal from people.
I don't do that. Well, for example, I'm learning this online business, and people ordering my books. If some people say, well, I didn't get the book. I said, well, just show me your receipt. I'll put one in the mail for you tomorrow.
Gotcha.
If you find the other book, just send it back to me.
Gotcha.
We have to have some policies. You understand?
Yeah.
I have integrity. You understand what I'm saying? And we just have to have some kind of accountability.
So some character with our business practices. We got to have some standards.
Of course. If I bought a pair of earrings, and my queen a pair of earrings, I said, look, we took the things home, man, it snapped off. She should say, well, look, we'll just bring it back. I'll hook it up for you. Or take this pair with it.
Right.
That's just the way we have to see. See, we don't love one another. That's the psychology of the self-hate.
That's the reality.
Right.
The lack of respect and love we have for each other is going to come out the minute there's a conflict.
Exactly.
So if we love our people And that's the natural way that we are. We really love black people. When they come in as an issue, like for me, and I'm not saying this for show. Kamar can tell you there's anybody that goes to my table. If somebody comes out and there was a problem, my disc was wrong, I'm looking at, Al Kamar to stop me from giving away everything on the table because, first of all, I want them to see the stuff anyway. You know what I'm saying? Right. But the idea is, I feel like I've harmed you in some way because you supported me, and I'm not only going to give you this, but I'm going to make sure I take care of you. But that really comes because I like black people. I mean, if you really take away all of the fancy business practice, it could be because I love black people. Right. Now, if I don't like black people already, the minute you come to me with any kind of issue or concern, I have an attitude because I already don't like my people, and that's what you were saying.
Right, exactly.
So we do have to understand that how we feel about each other, no matter how great our ideas are and our business strategies, it's not going to be as effective if we don't have some consideration for one another.
Right, and I have to mature in certain areas. I got to admit, to be honest with you, I'm one of them kind of individuals. Don't try to sell me anything. I hate salesmen. Don't try to sell me a house, a car, a pencil. No, if I come to your table and I ask you a couple of questions about Pizzagate or whatever it is that you got, oh, okay, cool. That's cool, man. All right, I'll see you tomorrow, man. Take care. But wait a minute, man. I'll give you a 2 for 1, because I grew up in New York and don't try to sell me anything. If I really want it, I'm going to get it.
I'm going to get it, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? The dude tried to sell me a ring recently. And I'm like, bruh, I'm not trying to spend 5 stacks. I'm just... And he's forcing the issue, trying all this New York little tricks and 3-card Mollying on me. And I'm like, bro, come on, man. Please. But anyway, I'm growing and I'm maturing because this is a whole new digital realm we live in. I ain't know nothing about swiping and merchant devices and all the way.
But you learned, didn't you?
I learned quick.
Yeah, because people walk away from your table now.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Because everybody has plastic, man. But anyway, it's been a pleasure. I got to get back to work. Love you to life, man.
Definitely. Always a pleasure.
All right, cool.
That's Professor Griff in the house, brothers and sisters. You got it live here, direct, here on Chopping Up with the Irritated Genies. Let me tell you what we got coming next week. And this is going to be a whole day. Remember, the second week of every month, the second Monday of every month. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get my, what's going on with Keynote here? Get the Keynote up so I can show you better than I can tell you. The second week of every month, we're going to have a program dedicated to dealing with black male-female relationships, all right? So, the second weekend of every month, some different program related to black male-female relationships. So I'm just showing you here on the Chopping It Up. These are flyers. These are not what we're doing next week, but next week is the second week. July 10th is the second Monday of the month of July, and we're going to keep with our theme. And we're having the same guests for our 2 to 4 program and for our 6 to 9 p.m. Dr. Crystal Owens, the sister who you saw when we were with the youth that was doing the Straight Black Garden and had organized all those youth to come out and give back to the community and learn and empower themselves with the Empowerment Center. She's going to come into the studio, and she does relationship counseling. So she's a doctor. She's not playing with that title. She is a real doctor, and she uses it to help our people. And one of the things she helps do is deal with male-female relationships in the black community. Black people, how do we keep these relationships thriving? How do we work through our issues and concerns? And she's going to come in, and from 2 to 4 p.m. next week, we're going to have Dr. Crystal Owens talking about repairing black male and female relationships. And then from 6 to 9, you know we always start about 6:30 or so, she's going to be live at Chopping It Up Live in the house here at Everlasting Life. She's going to be live for both of them. She's going to be in the house at 6 p.m. and she's going to be live having a discussion where the whole community is invited, talking about repairing and maintaining and keeping black male-female relationships alive and thriving. How do we repair these broken relationships? Not just the individual relationships, but the collective relationship that we have between black men and women. The lack of trust, the lack of understanding, the lack of protection from black men, the lack of support from black women. All the things that we're hearing universally pretty much at this point. That the issues that we have with one another as black men and women. It seems as though, since we know that the Creator created African people first, we know through mitochondrial DNA that black people were the first people on planet Earth. And I hear a lot of sisters say it was the black woman. Well, mitochondrial DNA that says that, but I think it does us better to say black people, because the black mother is the mother of our race, but in fact, we're the father of our race. So we're together in this. We're together. Let's talk about it collectively. And if the Creator saw fit that the black man and woman would be with one another and come to be together, and we were supposed to be complementary partners to the journey of life, it seems as though no matter what we've been through, that's the correct thing that we're supposed to be doing as well. And in the context of 2017, that's not what we're doing. And because it's not what we're doing, we want to figure out what we can do to actually make this work better. So remember, also, Al Kamar is going to be in the studio as well next week, right? 2 to 4. So we're going to have our special guest, Sister Crystal or Dr. Crystal Owens. And of course, Al Kamar is going to be riding in here as well. So we're going to have all three of us in studio. And again, if you watch it on elifemedia.net, we're going to have all different angles. We're going to be going in and out. We're going to be putting up videos to talk about some of the things we're doing. It's going to be a very dynamic program, but it's ultimately very beneficial and useful. And the phone lines are going to be open so that you can call in. If you're dealing with a problem, if you're a brother that's saying, I'm having so many problems with sisters, you're going to ask the sister. And let me just tell you, sister ain't no pushover. So she got to say, well, brother, have you thought about this about yourself? She going to say it. And she ain't got no problem doing it. So you're going to want to tune in next week, and you're going to come chopping up. And I advise people and suggest for people, come on down live. No reason you can't come down live to the studio and participate as well. So with that said, brothers and sisters, we're going to wrap up the program today. Remind you tonight at 6 p.m., come on out. We're going to have our brother William Murray. He's going to be talking about black economic empowerment. Have never seen this presentation before. We actually met him live at one of the Chopping It Up sessions. And so we want to get an opportunity to see, he said he knows some stuff about black economic empowerment that we all need to know. And we're going to hear what he knows tonight. We're going to get a chance to see it live. You're going to see it the same time I see it live, where we see people who just come out to the venues and say, I have something to offer. Are invited to have a stage right here with our people. So you're going to see that tonight, and we look forward to you getting the opportunity to do that. So come on out, tune in for Black Economic Empowerment. You can tune in live on Facebook Live as well tonight. Tune in to Black Economic Empowerment with our brother William Murray. And with that said, brothers and sisters, thank you for tuning in. It's been a fantastic program. We hope you've enjoyed it. Chopping it up, brothers and sisters. Peace. All right, let me just figure out how to unlive. Let's see, output. Do you remember how to stop the live output on this device, Alchema?
Live. Now, it's ended here.
So how do we end it? Stop recording.
Yeah.